The average temperature on the surface of the planet has already increased 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880, which may not seem like much, but think about it this way. The heat from human emissions is roughly equal to 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs exploding across the planet every single day. Future generations are in big trouble, but for now, it'll gradually continue to get warmer and storms will grow more intense, with longer periods of drought in between. But longer term, if emissions continue to rise unchecked, the climate disasters will be so severe they will destabilize entire nations, send millions of refugees across borders, cause widespread extinction of most species on Earth, and melt the polar ice caps, leaving most of the world's coastal cities several feet underwater. All this could take centuries, but something like the sudden collapse of agriculture would trigger immediate chaos in society. Best case is we get our act together and begin to rapidly bring emission levels down. Meanwhile, Earth turns out to be less sensitive to greenhouse gases than we currently believe, plants and animals adapt quickly, and major technological breakthroughs help society limit emissions and adjust to climate change. But these are all the opposite of what we're actually seeing, so the only thing in our control is to limit emissions using all available tools and best behaviors currently at our disposal. Worst case, the collapse of food production causes spiraling prices, and as our capitalist utopia breaks down, billions starve as our world gets violent and messy real quick, kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but with extreme hunger spreading chaos instead, so yeah, still just like a zombie apocalypse. This would be coupled with the melting of the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to rapidly rising seas that would force us to abandon many of our greatest cities and all of the social and scientific progress that we were making within them. Adding insult to injury is the fact that many of the emissions were emitted while building these now abandoned underwater metropolises. If emissions continue unchecked, we're looking at a total rise of between 80 to 160 feet, which would occur if all the ice in the poles melted. So the oceans will rise. The real question is how fast? Scientists only have Earth's history to base their predictions on, which suggests that the rate has occasionally hit 1 foot per decade. So we'll have to adapt to an altered coastline sooner or later, but probably much sooner than later, because computer forecasts only give us a range of future possibilities. The most important evidence comes from the study of past climate conditions, which clearly show that every time the amount of carbon dioxide in the air rises, the Earth warms up, ice melts, and the ocean rises. What's important to remember here is that we are in uncharted territory. Humans are pumping carbon dioxide into the air far faster than nature ever has before us. Scientists have been publishing strong evidence that warming is making drought and heat waves more frequent, causing heavier rainstorms and more severe coastal flooding. But while the internet has made us all more aware of weather disasters in distant countries, it's hard to prove these are all directly made worse by climate change.
Okay. What impact do you think we are currently experiencing? It may change cost higher because boosters are less and carbon neutral technology are required. Hello, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. What impact do you think we are currently experiencing?
It makes production cost higher because resources are less and carbon neutral technology are required.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. What impact do you think we are currently experiencing?
We are currently experiencing severe natural disasters such as storm, flood, drought, and wildfires, which are occurring more frequently and instantly. These disasters have significant impact on community, economics, and ecosystem. And one major reason for the impact is climate change, which is causing global temperature lead to stronger storm, rising sea level that cause flooding, prolonged drought that affect water and flood supplies, and hotter conditions that increase the risk of this storm.
Thank you. Hello. Can I ask you a question? Okay. What impact do you think we are currently experiencing?
Global warming affect the survival of living things because the temperature is getting higher. This makes the season change. So living things this cannot adjust to the new environment may not survive.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay, what impact do you think we are currently experiencing?
Climate change affects health in many ways, such as respiratory diseases, air pollution, and fire dust. Vehicles contribute to asthma and chronic blood diseases.
Okay, thank you.
Drought is a defining feature of Australia. Its impacts can be distressing and affect the whole community. But not all droughts are the same. They can vary in the size of the area affected, the intensity, and how long they last. So
this is Joshua. He's hungry. Today, he's not eaten any food. Literally nothing. He's not just hungry, he's starving. In all reality, Joshua will die of hunger-related disease, maybe not today, but not that too long in the future. He'll join the other 11,000 children who die daily of hunger-related diseases. Now, Joshua is not in some barren desert like the Sahara where there is no food. Literally, a 5-minute walk up this hill, there's a small supermarket where you can buy as much food as you really want or would need. Joshua's issue is that he's an orphan. His guardian neighbour is trying to raise her own 3 children by herself and then also look after Joshua and his little sister. But she has no job. How do you put food in the belly of your own children, let alone your dead neighbour's children? She tries, but what's her chances? She's got no education, she's got no unemployment benefits, she's got no social security. It's not that she's fallen through the cracks of the system, there is no system. She literally has no way to put food into Joshua's belly.
Wind whips over a barren wasteland. Vast nothingness as far as the eye can see, or so it may seem. Creatures peek out of burrows, scurry across the sand, and soar through the sky, revealing a landscape not as lifeless as it may first appear. Deserts are often defined as areas of land that receive less than 10 inches of rainfall each year. These regions are low in humidity and can even be moisture deficient, evaporating water faster than it is received. While most deserts are found in the mid-latitudes, these diverse ecosystems occur on all 7 continents and make up nearly 1/3 of Earth's total landmass. Air pollution consists of chemicals or particles in the atmosphere that pose serious health and environmental threats. But what causes air pollution, and what does it mean for our planet? Some air pollution comes from natural sources like volcanic eruptions, wildfires, or allergens. But most air pollution results from human activities, such as energy use and agriculture. There are different types of human-made air pollution. When we burn fossil fuels to produce energy, they release greenhouse gases into the air. These emissions, such as carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases, trap heat from the sun in Earth's atmosphere, leading to a rise in global temperatures. This creates a cycle where air pollution contributes to climate change, and climate change creates higher temperatures. In turn, higher temperatures intensify some types of air pollution. For example, climate change increases smog because it forms in the presence of high heat and increased levels of ultraviolet radiation. More frequent extreme weather, such as flooding, contributes to damp conditions and therefore to a rise in mold. Warmer weather also leads to longer pollen seasons and therefore more pollen production. Smog is a type of air pollution that reduces visibility and has serious health effects. Smog can be divided into 2 categories: sulfurous and photochemical. Sulfurous smog is made up of chemical compounds called sulfur oxides. It occurs when burning sulfur-bearing fossil fuels such as coal. Photochemical smog, also called ground-level ozone, is a result of the reaction between sunlight, nitrogen oxides, and volatile organic compounds. Nitrogen oxides come from car exhaust, coal power plants, and factory emissions. Volatile organic compounds are released from gasoline, paints, and many cleaning solvents. Smog not only creates a brown haze that reduces visibility, but also harms plants, irritates the eyes, and causes respiratory distress. Another category of air pollution is toxic pollutants. These are chemicals such as mercury, lead, dioxins, and benzene that are released during gas or coal combustion, waste incineration, or burning of gasoline. In addition to adverse environmental effects, toxic air pollution can cause serious health problems such as cancer, reproductive complications, and birth defects. While air pollution has many consequences for our planet, there are solutions. We can limit toxic pollutants, smog, and greenhouse gases by decreasing the use of fossil fuels, such as in transportation, manufacturing, and electricity generation. Reducing air pollution not only contributes to a cleaner environment and better human health, but can also slow the rate of global warming.
Dear friends, what you are seeing now is not the special effects of film and television, but the tsunami caused by the largest earthquake in Japan's history in 2011. This video completely records the spectacular scene of the tsunami.
Earthquakes occur around the world. They've been recorded on all 7 continents, but most quakes take place in just 3 regions. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an underwater line that runs down the Atlantic Ocean, the Alpine Belt, which stretches from the Mediterranean to Southeast Asia, and the Circum-Pacific Belt, which traces along the edges of the Pacific Ocean and is where about 80% of all earthquakes occur. These areas experience the most earthquakes due to what lies beneath the surface. Earthquakes are the result of pressure, specifically pressure caused by extreme stress in the Earth's crust. That stress can be caused by volcanic activity or even man-made activities in certain areas.
Everything seems fragile, especially people. For the millions of Thais living hand to mouth, life was already tough. A house of cards waiting for one blow and it all comes crashing down. That blow was coronavirus. Cholada lost her job as a bus ticket collector. Her electricity just got cut off, and in a matter of weeks, she will be evicted.
Just thinking makes me cry. I'm so stressed. I'm about to have no home. I have no money. I have nothing. I'm at the end of the road. There's no way out for me.
She struggles with depression every day. Every day she has suicidal thoughts. She's been waiting on the government cash handout of $154 per month. 28.8 million people applied, only 13.4 million approved. The longer they wait, the more desperate they become. The daily dose of death from financial hardship is heartbreaking. A mother unable to buy milk for her kids, a used car dealer who could not pay back loans, an English teacher despairing from financial calamity. The list goes on.
Food waste. Hundreds of tons of it here at the largest food collection site in London, and yet this isn't even 1% of what we waste on a daily basis. Well, this is the latest delivery they've had here. This is about 6 tons of food waste. They'll get 30 deliveries just like this one every single day. And admittedly, a lot of the food is rotten and really smells bad. But some of this food actually looks okay to eat. Here, everything you see is separated out and recycled, producing gas, electricity and fertilizer, which can then be shipped out for a profit.
3 degrees. It can be the difference between snow and sleet, wearing a jacket or not. In your day-to-day life, it may not seem significant, but 3 degrees of global warming would be catastrophic.
Heat waves, droughts, extreme precipitation, even fire. 3 degrees of warming is really disastrous.
The scary thing is, the world is well on its way there. Since the Industrial Revolution, the Earth has warmed between 1.1 and 1.3 degrees Celsius.
This is a problem that babies you pass in the street will have to live with.
Children born today are up to 7 times more likely to face extreme weather than their grandparents. If global temperatures do rise by 3 degrees, what would their world look like?
skies like this were once typical for Beijing and other major Chinese cities. The air pollution was so bad that people wore face masks to help them breathe. Faced with a global reputation for the worst smog, dubbed by residents as an air-pocalypse, the Chinese government launched an ambitious multi-billion-dollar war against pollution in 2014. A decade later, those efforts are paying off. According to a new report, in 2021, China's pollution levels had fallen 42% from 2013. According to the annual Air Quality Life Index report, the improvement means that Chinese people can now expect to live 2.2 years longer. Beijing province experienced the steepest decline, dropping just over 56% in just 8 years. The better air quality in the city means residents living there could expect to add another 4.2 years to their lives. The government has instituted a number of measures to fight pollution, including limiting the number of cars on the road in major cities, banning new coal plants from the most polluted areas, and replacing coal stoves in millions of homes with gas heaters. But while progress has been significant, the report cautioned that China remains the 13th most polluted country. Despite more blue skies in Beijing, the city's particulate pollution in the air is still 40% higher than that of the most polluted county in the U.S. Still, the report concluded that when there are resources and political will, governments can make the changes necessary to tackle air pollution.
Plague is notorious for causing mass sickness and devastation. But as much tragedy as the disease has caused, it also helped drive crucial scientific and social progress. Plague is an infectious disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis. It mainly affects rodents and spreads by way of insects. Because of these insect carriers, plague has been passed on to humans with devastating consequences. 3 major plague pandemics have occurred in human history, and while they occurred centuries apart, they shared similar traits that paved the way for the spread of disease. One cause of plague pandemics was the rise of international trade. Trade routes connected once isolated communities and created large economic networks. But by facilitating the movement of goods between communities, trade routes also facilitated the movement of germs. International trade was an impetus for the first plague pandemic on record, the Plague of Justinian. In the 6th century, outbreaks began in Egypt, and thanks to land and sea trade routes, they spread throughout the Byzantine Empire. Named after the emperor at the time, the Plague of Justinian is estimated to have wiped out about half of Europe's population. Growing economies also made way for urbanization and a rising urban population. This resulted in crowded neighborhoods and the accumulation of waste, which created unsanitary living conditions. Cities and their residents essentially became incubators for germs and diseases. This was particularly evident in the second and most infamous plague pandemic. In the 14th century, Europe was experiencing an economic and population boom, especially in cities. Proper waste management did not exist at the time, making cities vulnerable to disease. After trade routes brought plague from Asia, where it killed millions in China and the Middle East, the disease wiped out about 1/3 of Europe's population, earning itself the moniker, the Black Death. What also aided in the transmission of the disease was the lack of medical knowledge. For most of human history, the cause of illnesses, germs, was unknown, making sicknesses like the plague a mystery. This lack of knowledge drove the spread of disease as recently as the 19th century. Outbreaks in northwest India eventually reached major port cities in China. In just over a century, plague was exported throughout the globe and caused outbreaks in every continent except Antarctica, making it the most widespread pandemic in history. This plague pandemic, however, was the last. In 1894, scientists discovered the bacteria behind the plague outbreaks. Their discovery helped further developments in microbiology, medicine, urban planning, and sanitation methods, which led to the treatment and prevention of the disease. Economic expansion, urbanization, and a lack of medical knowledge contributed to the disastrous spread of plague. In turn, however, The disease helped catapult crucial advancements in science and public health, very well making plague pandemics a thing of the past.
Hello, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. How do you solve the climate change problem?
Protecting nature, planting trees, and protecting forests to absorb carbon dioxide and support smart foresting. Government and community need to work together on laws and practice that limit pollution. This step helps slow down global warming and protect our environment for future generations.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can I ask you a question?
Oh yes.
Okay, how do you solve the climate change problem?
To solve the climate change issues, we need to reduce the greenhouse gas that warm our planet. This means using renewable energy, switching from fossil fuels to wind, solar, or other clean energy source, improving efficiency, making our homes, cars, and industry use energy more wisely.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can I ask you a question? Okay. How do you solve the climate change problem?
Use clothes bag to reduce plastic bag use.
Okay, thank you. Hello, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay, how do you solve the climate change problem?
Car walking instead of using a car if the distance is not too far.
Okay, thank you.
We have invited it.
Have you paid it?
Bye bye.